it out.
There we go. Third time was a charm.
We just started doing this, so he's still figuring it out.
Hey, man. There's a ghost in the machine. What can I say?
Amazon AWS going down, like that screwed up a lot of things. Like I couldn't check into my flight, which wasn't the end of the world.
I basically just didn't get out of bed because it wasn't worth it that morning.
Like, I mean, that's probably not okay that just one company. And didn't they just fire a bunch of people and just start using the machines, and then the machines broke that fast? Damn.
Oh, that's a good story.
It's funny how AWS can have an outage and the stock can go up. CrowdStrike has the similar thing and stock gets hammered, right? Last year.
It's true.
Yeah.
Well, that's what CrowdStrike does. Amazon does a lot of things, right?
That's true. Yeah.
By the way, CrowdStrike back to looking awesome.
Strazza's got the bull market glasses on.
The rally shades, but large cap tech in general, just back to looking pretty good.
All right, Spencer, live from Florida, from New Jersey, from Pennsylvania. We are back from Vegas. What do you say?
Let's go. What's up?
All right. So, what's going on? Trump pump again, huh?
Yeah, looks like it. It's not much though. Is it enough anymore?
Yeah, it was
tell me what happened.
Short-lived pump. If that's what
Explain
you're talking about.
Explain it to people who don't know, like me. What happened?
Are you referring to quantum? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, like what happened? Like, explain to me, somebody who doesn't follow what the Trump does, or all this stuff. I just see, okay, Trump pump, stocks are up. Yeah, tell me what happened.
There's a report from the Wall Street Journal that the administration is considering taking stakes in several quantum companies. The three that were mentioned were IonQ, Rigetti, and D-Wave. So all three jumped on that report. All three have since given much of those gains back. So if that's a pump, it's a short-lived pump to be sure.
Did it say why? What is the rationale for a government stake?
I'm going to assume it's the same rationale for every government stake, which is national security.
Right. No, yeah, that's what we said. Remember, Strazza, when they did this with the MP, what did I say? I said, are we going to make the bet that this is the last time this happens? Or is there more of this to come? And if we're going to make the bet that there's probably more of this to come, which sectors and industry groups are most likely to get that pump, right? What did we say? Nuclear, AI, semis, I think we're thrown out there too.
Nothing's off the table though.
The drone stuff also, right?
It's everything is the answer.
I mean, it's not everything. It's those things. What am I missing?
It's everything.
What else? Tell me. Well, give me another one that I didn't mention.
They bought banks in recent years too.
They bought the banks?
Pretty much.
They lent them money. They didn't buy the banks.
Yeah, that's a little bit of a different.
They invested in banks. It's not that different.
They lent them a lot of money at nothing, but they didn't invest in the banks.
They saved companies from going to zero, and they insured. Basically, they covered lenders' deposits.
Well, who's crying about that?
Yeah.
Not crying.
No, I mean, Strazza's not wrong. Strazza's not wrong, but this is not a national. I wouldn't put those in the category of the national security, like nuclear, AI, semis, drones, rare earth, right? Like those are the categories. Like, tell me, what am I missing? Chat? Anybody in the chat want to weigh in? What else? What are we missing here on that list?
I think
Crypto, no.
If you think for a second, yes. If you think for a second, they'll buy anything they want.
You know what? You're probably right on the crypto, because at the end of the day, how do I think about this? This is something I don't know fucking anything about this stuff, but I have to just use common sense. And when I think about common sense, is like, where is the United States like behind, right? Where they need to catch up, right? And right, like that's kind of like where I'm thinking. So in the rare earth metals, the drones, semiconductors, not so much that we're behind as it is like, you know, there's other issues out there in Taiwan and China or whatever. Not so much that we're behind, but kind of in that category. You know, the nuclear, right? I don't know the exact stats as to how far behind we are in the nuclear, but I'm pretty sure we're not the best in the world, right?
We're talking about the Trump administration. They're going to do whatever the hell they want. They're going to buy whatever companies they want.
Cybersecurity is probably on that list. Brad's
Stakes they
right. That's a
want.
good one. Yeah, cybersecurity.
Definitely.
Just aerospace and defense in general, not just cybersecurity, but kind of like cybersecurity within the realm of aerospace and defense, probably, right?
They took a stake in Intel.
Yeah.
So
but that's on the semiconductor
sit
front.
here
Isn't that,
and think like you can like game this or figure it out. There's no telling what they could take a stake
hold
in.
on. Stop. Strazza is like laughing and like, oh, funny, haha. But like, no, there's actually, this is real in terms of money, because what did we say with MP Materials when that happened and they stepped in and the thing ripped? What are we going to do now because of that, right? What's the trade? The trade was very simple. You can't short rare earth metals. And then there's probably other industry groups like the ones we just mentioned that you also can't short, because you could wake up and you could be taking it up your ass the next morning, right? So we want to avoid shorting those. And not only do we want to avoid shorting those, we should probably look a little closer into those areas and see if we find opportunities from the long side, because if we like something anyway, and we know we have a potential catalyst where the Trump sends out a tweet, things up 25% overnight, that's nice too. But if we like it also, that's just a reason to like it even more. That was the trade? Am I wrong?
It wasn't a trade for me.
It's not a trade. It's a mentality. It's a way to approach the market. It's a way to think about it. So you're gonna go short rare earth metals? So I was like, I'm not sure.
No, but you know me. I would rather stay away from something like Intel, or you know what I mean, companies that's getting money and stocks moving because of that.
Yeah,
I was already in a lot of this stuff, not because the government was going to be, though. You know.
Yeah, but you're not upset about it.
No.
Like it wasn't a headwind.
I used a lot of this nonsense to take profits in a lot of trades that I've been in for a long time. In fact, I have a hell of a lot less uranium and nuclear exposure than I did a couple weeks ago.
Anybody else? Any other industry groups? I like the thoughts there on aerospace and defense. Airlines?
No, that throw them.
Our
in the
airlines
bank.
do suck, though, right?
Like
we're not. We're like
airlines belong with the banks, right? They're like critical for society, but not national security.
These
right?
Asian airlines and
have to get built out.
These Asian airlines that are super sick. Is it just a better experience for the consumer, or do they actually make money? Are they actually better companies?
No idea.
No idea. All right. Just curious, because I mean, you know, you fly American Airlines and it's terrible, and then you go fly one of these, you know, what's the one that goes to Hong Kong?
Emirates, incredible.
Cafe, was it Cafe, something like that?
You have to wonder what is going on in America that our planes are so freaking bad.
Yeah, TikTok's another one. That's not
an airline question. That's a Boeing question, Steve. That's a Boeing Airbus thing, right? There's two.
Isn't it both though? It's kind of both. No, like,
you know, oil. You include oil and gas in that, Strazza, in the conversation of potential Trump pumps.
Some of these airlines, Spencer, what, oil and gas?
Yeah,
I mean, I think you got to include that. I think Berto Bills. Yeah, steel. What about steel? Steel probably too, right? Because all the steel comes from China.
JC, I'm not kidding when I tell you it's literally fucking everything.
It's not everything.
It's everything.
It's not everything.
It's everything.
Can we get a list, an index?
It's not going to be like consumer staples. It's not going to be like canned goods. Look, maybe like industrial machinery, maybe manufacturing. Yeah.
What you're saying is some things more than others. Yes. What I'm saying though is everything's on the table.
Fine, but some things are more vulnerable for a squeeze than others. And in some cases, we could still find areas to short. And I would feel more comfortable knowing that there's a lower likelihood that Trump's going to send out a tweet and I'm taking it up the butt the next morning because I'm short. You know what I mean? Like there's some industries that I can still get short. You know, but to your point, the more and more I think about it, the fewer and fewer I'm finding. You're not wrong. Like healthcare, nah, right?
Look, I want to follow up.
Is like, what part of everything do you not understand, JC?
I want to follow up on some comments from earlier this week. You know, there was just a lot of failed breakout setups and speculative growth. We talked about it, I think, yesterday. A lot of those looking like you're getting fast moves lower. Some fast moves have already happened, like in stuff like SMR. But a lot of these charts are really just blasted. Have you seen this? Some of the best charts. Speaking of quantum, look at something like QUBT. Recovering a bit today, but wow. So that's what I'm talking about. From failed moves, come fast moves.
All right, let's see if they can stick them. What do you say we do a little state of the market, see what's happening out there?
There were some great shorts here. These things are down 50% from their highs. A lot of these things. So
Let them dance.
what do you mean? Let them dance. You lost 50% if you were hanging on to this shit. Let them dance. Give me a break. Let them.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we've got the Dow Jones Industrial Average. After making new all-time highs on a daily closing basis, shout out to Charles Henry Dow, who always said that it's the closing price that's the most important price. We had the highest daily close ever for the Dow on Tuesday, the day before yesterday. NASDAQ 100. Today, the Dow's down about 90 points. So pretty flat this morning. S&P's also flat, down 10 handles, 67.25. You got the NASDAQ 100 futures also down 0.25%. NASDAQ 100 all-time weekly closing high on Friday. 30-year bond futures down about 1/3%, just under 119. Crude oil up 4.5% at 61. Wow, big move there. 2% for copper this morning, back above 5.10 for copper. Gold up almost 2% on the day, 41.34. Silver up 2.3%, 48.80. Trying to get back above that 50 with the VIX still above 19, up a little bit on the day. VIX still above 19. Wow. Over in funny money land, Bitcoin, big day today of 1,500 points, 109,150. Held that 105 level that we've been watching, so that was impressive. Ethereum, 38.50, up 1.3% on the day. Over in Solana, Solana 188, up 5% on the day. And that brings the total crypto market cap, Mr. Spencer Israel, 3.63 trillion. What stands out from this morning's futures?
From the futures themselves, I don't know.
On the overnight sesh.
I mean, oil is interesting, right? Because there was
big move in oil.
Yeah, that
real.
probably sticks out. There was a headline yesterday, as there always is, right? This is Russia sanctions. So
the oil is up allegedly on Russian sanctions. Sanctions.
Yeah,
it has nothing to do with that. With this oil, was that support?
Probably combination of all things, right?
It must be the Russians. It has nothing to do with crude oil at support, right?
Well,
really interesting crude oil, not just finding support on an absolute basis, but relative to gold, also. For those, do you typically follow the crude oil gold ratio?
Can't say I do. No.
Maybe you should. Maybe you should start. Really gives you an idea. I've been pricing assets in gold for a long time over the years. So interesting level there in crude oil. All right, let's go over a couple of things. First of all, let's refresh that. Let's start with the AAI. Hold on one second.
First off, what you? I want to know what like general sense is. I know you talked about Vegas a couple days ago, but now that you're back, what was the general mood out there? Pretty good.
I mean, people really love the content we're putting out. Like that. I mean, there were so many nice people. Like, no, but seriously, like, I don't think I've ever, I've been around people like say nice things about us for sure, but I don't know that I've ever had this many people come up to us and just be like, you guys put out great work, blah, blah, blah. You changed my life. I flew from Israel. Like, I mean, there was like people flying in from all over the place. I mean, it was really cool. So, like, wow. Amazing.
That's nice. I meant from like a market standpoint. That was my question.
Yeah. That just really stood out.
Okay.
Like, like super, like the nicest, sweetest people ever. So thank you so much, all of you guys. From a market standpoint, I had everybody raise their hand if they thought that we were in a bubble, because I did that in the last conference I spoke at. I'm done with the conferences. Thank God. The travel. I mean, I don't travel like I used to. I'm in Nashville the other day, and then I'm in Baltimore, and now I'm in fucking Vegas. I was in California before that. I'm over it. I'm done. I'm so happy to be home with you guys. Oh, so anyway, so the last conference I gave at Nashville, a ton of people there, like 750, 800 people there. Raise your hand if you think we're in a bubble. I didn't say what asset. I just said raise your hand if you think we're in a bubble. The whole room raised their hand. This time I'm like, oh, I'm gonna ask these guys, see what they think. I figured I'd get the same response. Boy, that I think wrong. Raise your hand if you think we're in a bubble. Nobody raised their hand.
That's because you didn't specify. Yeah.
Okay, but I asked it the exact same way in the right at the beginning. I didn't say a word. I just said, raise your hand if you think we're in a bubble. In the last conference, everyone raised their hand. This one, nobody. Like a few people, like a few stragglers. Isn't that random?
It is interesting. In terms of the demographics, were they similar, the two conferences?
I thought they were. I guess not. Yeah, this is the Stansberry conference. This is like for their allegiance. So these are like all like their VIPs, like you got to pay a lot of money to be there. I don't know, but I guess maybe the other one, it wasn't so much that it was just a conference maybe. So I don't know the answer, but I thought that was just an interesting dynamic. Why don't we throw up, speaking of which, why don't you throw up their slide 3? You could see the American Association of Individual Investors once again coming in last night with more bears than bulls. Despite the fact that the Dow Jones Industrial Average closed the day at the highest levels ever on Tuesday, and the NASDAQ 100 closed at the highest weekly close ever last week. And in addition to that, on Tuesday, the equally weighted NASDAQ also closed at an all-time high. So, despite all of that, 2 weeks in a row, more bears than bulls. I thought that was interesting. How do you feel about that? Does that surprise you?
Yeah, I would expect that. So wait, this comes out every Wednesday night, right?
Yeah, Wednesday like at midnight.
Right.
It comes out like in the middle
and
of the
the survey is like Wednesday to Wednesday, right?
Something like that, yeah.
Okay, so.
And it's how do you feel about the market over the next 6 months? Very specifically.
Yeah, right. Okay. No, I mean, I would sort of expect like the higher markets go, the more bears there would be, right? We've talked about this.
What if I told you that today is the best day of the year to buy stocks?
I thought we already had that day.
Oh,
no?
What day did you think that was?
I don't know. I feel like this like a month ago. No?
So I think you're talking about the single best day.
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. Exactly.
Right. I am talking about on a rolling forward return, on a rolling 3-month forward return. If you want to make money over the next quarter, if you want to make money exactly over the next 3 months, today is the day that has the best rolling 3-month return. Because you know how they say, buy in October and get yourself sober. The best 3-month period of the year is November, December, January, right? That 3-month period. So it makes sense that at some point in October is the day where it's most optimal historically. That day happens to be today.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
Look at this.
Yep. And then you could still buy over the coming weeks and months, but historically it is not as optimal as it is today. Now, I just find that interesting. It just makes sense. It doesn't mean I'm going to buy and do anything different. But it makes sense that going into the best 3-month period of the year and the old, October is the bear killer, even though we're not in a bear, right? We're entering the best 3-month period much more so from a position of strength. The worst 6-month period of the year is over. And now we enter the best 3-month period of the year from a position of strength. Steve Strazza, how do you feel about all this, sir?
No, it's great. I'm all for it. Yeah. Bullish.
Steve Strazza, all for it.
Got to see it. Ready? I got one for you. I got one. How many millimeters are in an inch?
Nobody knows.
You wouldn't know that, right?
Dude, we're in the United States of America. We use
I don't even know how many
yards.
Centimeters are in an inch. So no, I wouldn't.
Who cares? It's America, bro. Who cares?
Like 2.5. I think
2.5 centimeters. Okay. So 250 mil. All right. So I don't know.
I think there's 25-ish millimeters in an inch.
Why do you know this?
Wait.
I'm measuring things.
Why are you measuring things? You need to stop measuring things. Pay people to do that, dude. Don't worry. Like, stop measuring things. Like, what are you doing, bro? You pay people to do that. Throw up. Where's I got another one. Throw up slide 7 there, please.
Okay, slide 7, and then we have Kenny, and then we have Caleb Silver in the house today, by the way, Jason.
Ooh,
and he brought us word clouds, sentiment charts, and I'm excited. So
oh yeah, I like that a lot. Yeah. All right, so I am reading 1929. This is by one Andrew Ross Sorkin. This gentleman is he's one of these New York Times, CNBC folks, and he wrote what's the book? Too Big to Fail,
right.
And I think they turned that into a movie and everything like that, which is really cool, right? To see kind of like that time back in 2008 that I lived, see movies about it or everything like that. So I'm thinking to myself, there's a bestseller here. Does the book about the 1929 crash by, probably the #1 financial journalist or one of the top financial journalists in the world, does that usually come right before a market crash and a market collapse, or typically do we have legs, right? And so I went back and looked, right? So Andrew Ross Sorkin thanks, certain information sources that helped him with the book. Also quoted some older books about the 29 crash that helped him in this book writing endeavor.
He mentioned
and
us.
So those books, I went back and looked. Those books were written in 1955. Plenty of room left in a bull market. There was another one in 97. So plenty of room there. One other one in 1980. So
this is a very eclectic list. So you have Eric Trump, Andrew Ross Sorkin, John Kennedy Jr., Kamala Harris, Ozzy Osbourne, Michael J. Fox, and Tim Curry are on there. And the guy I've never heard of. Sorry. That's quite the list.
Wait, so Ozzy Osbourne wrote a book?
Well, yeah, I don't know if it's in a new book.
Wow.
He obviously, after people pass, their books, and their movies and their shows and whatever, and their music gets more love. So
I was with Ozzy. I had dinner with Ozzy Osbourne's bassist a couple nights ago. Random.
That is random.
Had dinner with David Jones. Random. I mean, just the things that happen in Vegas. J.R. Smith just walked into our presentation. Like, he just stumbled in looking for the golf shop. J.R. Smith, like in a white t-shirt, all tatted up.
Yeah, he's in the wrong place.
Like, I thought he was in the conference. I was like, oh, I didn't know J.R. Smith was trading these days. Nope, just looking for the golf shop.
That's awesome.
These are the things that happen in Vegas. Just random. So funny, dude.
Is it a good book before we bring Kenny out?
I mean, it's a book about the Great Depression, bro. I mean, it's kind of depressing, to be honest. No, I mean, it's fine. I like history, and so far it's not that depressing. But, like, it's like it's a boring subject matter. So it's very difficult to make very exciting. So, I mean, so far, but we'll see.
Surprised you're reading that.
And then I also finished Morgan Housel's book, and at the end of the book, he's like, "Yeah, read as much as you can, but if you start a book and you don't like it, just drop it right away."
Yep.
So now I got that in the back of my head. I'm like, should I not finish the book because it's fucking boring after 2 chapters?
Tight stops.
Tight stops. That's what Morgan
Tight
Housel
stops
says.
on your books and your shows and even your movies.
There's too much shit. There's too much shit out there.
Just don't do it.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. All right.
Kenny, what are you trading today?
It's been a long time coming. They ain't come from my club, they tugging. Putting up numbers, 99 pounds, and I still kept it 100. Hola. Yeah.
Oh, Mr. Glick.
We ain't found shit. What's up?
Dude, Vegas, man. Vegas is a good time.
So what are you doing out in Vegas? Did you see somebody animated your picture? That was cool with the cheers.
Dude, that was so cool.
Yeah.
That was really cool. Yeah, there was like a picture of a bunch of us, me, Josh, Fami, Jeff Carter was there, Super OG, Sean was there. Shout out Fintwit, Rachel. I mean, man, that was a lot of fun. And then they animated that and we were all cheersing. That was so cool. How did they do that?
AI, I guess.
AI. I was going to say
no,
AI.
I mean, we know it was AI.
Kenny, you buying the dip in Tesla here?
No, I've actually just been shorting some biotech stock. I don't know.
Shorting biotech. Which ones are you shorting here?
VTYX. I don't know. It just caught my eye last night. But just a couple of trades. That's what's so unique about what we're doing here. Yesterday all the earnings reversals are working pretty well, but some of these $2, $5 stocks could not avoid trading beyond meat yesterday. I mean, seriously. You guys watching this one? I actually got my eye on it today in case they want.
What happened there? Can you walk us through? Can you share your screen and walk everybody through what happened? That was
Yeah,
nuts.
sure. Here, check this out. And this is another thing about, the room, and this is why I love this market. It was fun to trade for a second on the long side. You had a couple of faux show bros VWAP breaks right there. But again, when I see a stock like this up, 400 or 500%, all I want to do is short it. And by the way, I would have raised my hand. We're in a bubble. I'll say it. We're buying stocks because of the names of the companies. Officially, it's a bubble. I don't care what anybody says. So I'm raising my hand, and we're going to crash any day now. But listen, you give me stocks like this to play every day. I mean, we got the earnings reversals. We're on a streak that's unbelievable. Another great day of earnings reversals. But you got to trade some of these pump and dumps like Beyond Meat, rolling over, breaking VWAP. That's what we call the finger of God. It's basically opposite of the faux show bro. So when they squeeze you and then it rolls back over, think of it as a big knuckle. And the finger of God, if you remember from Twister, it's the F5 hurricane. It rolls over and destroys the town down there and leaves it in rubble. So phenomenal trade. And not only was that awesome, but if you guys were looking at another pump and dump, was Flowers, FLWS. Looks like the same chart, right? Because the entire market's a pump and dump. Going to crash any second. All these garbage stocks. And again, momentum is over. I took you out on those quantum stocks. I'll take you out on those metals. I'm going to take you out on a stretcher when this market rolls over in the next couple of days. And I'm being serious. So volatility starts to peak up. I think the selling we've seen over the last couple of days is going to intensify. We're going to test Friday's lows. And if they don't hold, we're actually going to have a real correction at the time where everyone's thinking it's going to be the most bullish. It's going to be a nice sell-off.
Got it. So today, best day of the year to buy stocks on a forward 3-month returns. You're fading.
I'm looking to short it. Yeah. And again, yesterday we came in the same attitude. If the market gives us permission to sell, we will. Right now, it already did. And now it's telling us to cover. Like we had to cover 2 times yesterday and then just had to readjust. If we break yesterday's lows, and I'm saying right now, yesterday's lows could be generational lows. I mean, every time we pull back, we start another bull market. But if we break those lows, and we were just only 2 weeks from where we actually had a sell-off. So here's that last sell-off from a couple of Fridays ago, right? That was the Trump wannabe starting a trade war again. But if we break yesterday's lows, which are now multiple time frame VWAP, it's going to be a very significant moment. And then we could cascade some selling. And again, once the selling is over, you could have your market back. We're going to rally probably next year and the year after that and the year after that. I still have no delusion that the Qs are not going to be 1,000 within the next 3.5 years. And I think we're going to be a Dow 100,000 within 4 years. I'm not delusional, but just give me a sell-off. Give me something where people are worried about for a second, and then we'll capitulate, and then we'll start a new bull market that'll probably last for 3 years. But again, when you're trading like us, we're just looking for the intraday movement. Having an overall, feel for the market helps. But man, there's been so much activity, and it's been trades like Philip Morris over the last 24 hours. Look at this beautiful, wonderful chart, right? So they crushed this thing on earnings, and then it faux show bros and goes right back into the uptrend and makes the whole thing Jerry all back, gets it all back. And look at this computerized buying for 24 hours. This is 48 hours, and it goes right to our prior day VWAP as if it was programmed to do so, because it is. And when you've got this stuff to navigate your trades, you basically know when to buy, limited risk, and massive reward. So give me the volatility, because when do you trade Philip Morris? When do you trade UAL with these monstrous moves? Earnings season and around VWAP. This has been by far the greatest year of trading I have ever seen in my life. May it continue forever, whether it go up or down.
Kenny, I want to let you run, but before you do, I want to tell JC what happened yesterday. JC, we're on a stream. It's like 4 o'clock, whatever, 4:10. We're just yakking it up, and Tesla comes out with earnings reports, and Kenny's not trading it, but he's like, oh, let's pull it up and let's just look at the reaction. He goes, oh, this is just classic faux show bro, and he outlines the fake out, the shakeout. So I bet you it probably goes to the prior day view up here, and then we kind of left and whatever. Come back a minute later, boom. Boom! It just happened, just like that.
Yeah,
And he wasn't even. He was just.
we're right here, right now. So again,
Yeah.
I'm liking the Tesla. Again, trying to fight for its life right here. That's the foe in the show. You've already had a decent trade.
Show it. Put it up.
So right here,
Oh, yeah.
this is market mechanics at its best. Now, again, I don't think anybody's trading at 4:00 in the morning, but I'm just showing you how these chart patterns replicate, and then you just continue to do them until they stop working. And like I said, this has been the best year ever. Here it is. So you break in new lows, and then you break VWAP, today's VWAP to the prior day. It already happened. So now we're looking to do that same trade again. Here's your fake out, shakeout. As long as it doesn't break pre-market lows and yesterday's lows, super bullish Tesla. And again, if I want to own one stock, it's this stock. I'm super bullish. No bubble in Tesla. Stock's going to 5,000. I really do think that. Space rockets, robots, quantum AI, and chips all rolled up into one stock. Love it. And by the way, if you're in it,
Wow, Kenny,
if you're in it right now, let's go, people, because we're in it right now. There's a good start to the day. Who's got the Tesla? Let's rock. All right.
Well, hold on. I got 2 questions for you, Kenny.
Wait, I gotta sell
so
some
first
here.
of all, if you're not long Tesla, and Tesla doesn't, if Tesla does not represent, let's see where the number is today. If Tesla does not represent, at least 3% of your portfolio, you're short.
Okay.
Right? Those are the weightings in the indexes. So if you're not
Whoa,
long,
whoa. Which index are we talking about, JC?
S&P, NASDAQ.
Who says
It's not in the Dow? It should be in the Dow,
Who
but it's
says
not.
those are the best indexes, though?
Who said they're the best? I'm just saying those are the representations of where investors own things.
Okay.
If
Okay.
you believe
Right,
it,
S&P
if you
and
believe in
right?
space exploration, and if you believe
No, if you don't have 3.5% of your portfolio, if you have less than that, you're short. Keep that in mind. The other thing I was going to say, Kenny, when you're looking for the bottom, you're looking to fade, right? You're looking to short. Great. So you're either, correct me if I'm wrong, either looking for a retest of the lows or a capitulation that you could then buy, or a breakout and you buy that.
I'm generally looking for, anytime a stock is gapped down, especially in this market, I'm looking for the washouts and then the buys. Again, anything under VWAP right now. And again, that's a nice distinction to make. When you're long a stock and it's breaking VWAP, you generally want to be a seller, but you can start a position under VWAP looking for reversion and then the break. So that's kind of what we're doing here in Tesla. It's still down, kind of like IBM. No love for IBM yet, but this could be the fake out, shakeout. So again, IBM being down this much, I got to look to be a buyer no matter what. Just like, Honeywell was gapped up this morning. I'm looking for some selling, and it came, but there's just too little volume to take it serious. Same kind of thing. So again, like that, that Philip Morris, the short was the first trade. And if you didn't catch it, then you just look for the reversion and then the counter trend moves. So once again, it's a great market to be a trader because you're legitimately on both sides of the trade and you're winning on both sides.
All right, Kenny, I want to let you run. Hit the bid.com. Guys, trade with Kenny every single day.
All right.
Thanks,
Be
Kenny.
careful out there, y'all. See ya.
All right.
Okay.
I want to bring in Caleb Silver, but I want to mention something in the chat about, if you don't own the exact, percentages in an index, you're short. I don't necessarily take it to that degree, but there are certain stocks that I think based on their historic action have the potential to go up a lot. Things like Bitcoin, also Tesla. Remember, Tesla went up 3,000%, created more shareholder value faster than any company ever in history. And then it's consolidated for several years. So the resolution out of this consolidation historically is very symmetrical to what got it here. And what got it here was 3,000%. So I'm not saying Tesla's going to go up 3,000% from here. It's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is that the upside is so massive that I don't even know how high it can go. And so because of the massive upside risk, that's why I think we need to think about not having that exposure. We're essentially short. Similar to Bitcoin, by the way, not having that exposure, you're essentially short. Whether those shorts turn out to be right or wrong is another thing. But that's how we kind of want to think about it. So not for every stock.
All right. You were in Vegas. You asked a room full of investors. Are we in a bubble? Caleb Silver has similar such surveys from the Readers Investopedia.
No, I love it. I love it. I can't wait to see this.
Let's talk about it.
Jay, we've been friends for a long time. Make the call.
I mean, this is pretty professional, guys.
Nice show you got going here.
Caleb. My man. Oh, he's on mute. Hey, Caleb. No.
Wait,
Nothing.
we're on mute. There we
No
go.
reason to be on mute. I'm here with you right now.
Oh, what is up, my man? Ladies and gentlemen, Caleb Silver, the most interesting man in the world. People don't even know. Every time I talk to you, I learn something new about you, and you become even more of an interesting man. Tell me something about you that I don't know.
Well, first of all, you need to get out more. If I'm the most interesting man you know. But, here I am coming to you live and direct from Bentonville, Arkansas. First time I've been here in Bentonville. Have you ever been to Bentonville, JC?
I don't think I've ever been to Arkansas. I may have driven through it on the way to New Orleans once, maybe. I don't even know.
Yeah, it's pretty special. And this is a really special town. Shout out to Wright Brothers Barbecue last night. I got in there deep with the 3-meat platter. So first time here and excited to be with you. Excited to be on Stock Market Media, Stock Market TV on the morning show. One of my favorite people in the business. So thanks for having me, my friend.
Thank you, Caleb. Yep. Guys, Caleb Silver's a legend, rides his skateboard to work, makes killer guacamole, right? Just like, just certain things about Caleb, that I absolutely love. Also, Caleb has a very unique look into the market, right? Investopedia is one of the greatest financial websites ever. Maybe the best ever.
Best ever.
I don't, it's in the conversation as I was using this shit in college, Caleb. In college, I was using Investopedia. And then years later, I'm creating the technical analysis curriculum at Investopedia. I thought that was super cool. Like when you have a product that you use in college and now you're actually contributing to that product, like that was pretty special for me. And that was a great opportunity. So thank you so much for that. But the data that you get by having all of these people constantly reading Investopedia, and you have an inside look as to what they're reading, what they're interested in, nobody else has that, right? So tell me, what are the people interested in? Where is sentiment at an extreme, right? What are you seeing?
Yeah, so we are constantly looking at what our readers are reading because everybody comes to Investopedia for a very specific reason. You came for very specific reasons when you were in college. Sometimes you refer back to it, but everybody comes in a side door, right? Through the basement, through the attic, whatever they're interested in. And sometimes it's very simple, like explain EBITDA to me, but sometimes it's a little bit more complex. So I like to look at the daily traffic and see what articles are getting a lot of attention, what's spiking, what interest areas, what taxonomies are building enthusiasm or interest for our readers because either they're worried about something or maybe they want to get opportunistic about something. I just checked the last couple of days of traffic, JC. You'll like this. A couple of the most popular articles. What are the most traded 2x and 3x gold ETFs I can buy right now? So people may be trying to take advantage of a little dip there in gold prices.
And that's what they're clicking on, or is that what they're searching?
They're searching, probably looking for ways to get long gold if they've missed that rally there. So they wind up on that article, or they're looking for.
So when you're saying that there's a lot of that, you're saying over the last couple of days, couple of weeks.
Couple days. I was just looking at this week, and then I look at also on a week-by-week basis, on a month-by-month basis, and at the end of the year, we always do our terms of the year. What were the most popular terms that really defined the individual investor psyche throughout the course of the year? That's totally fascinating to me because it really tells the story of kind of our feelings because we come to Investopedia to kind of get smart, learn first, and then take action. So I was looking at that. People also looking up gold price history. A lot of people looking up money line odds, how to bet the money line. A lot of sports betting interest right now as the NBA tipped off last night. That always gets people interested. And I will get to this in a minute.
Does Investopedia have lines?
Yeah. Well, we don't have the lines. We explain how they work.
Got it.
Right.
Got it.
We teach people.
Hold on. So part of the financial curriculum at Investopedia includes gambling and money lines and spreads.
We explain what those are because
that is so good.
And I thought we should do this like about 6-7 years ago when the states were legalizing gambling and online gambling became a bigger thing. And I believe this. I said put a pin, but let's get to it right now. I believe we're in this convergence, and I've been doing a little college tour here, visiting a bunch of universities. I was just in Nashville yesterday. You were just in there, you just said as well. And I was in Georgia last week in Athens. And I think there's this convergence of sports betting, options betting, stock trading, crypto, DeFi, even investing for the long term, probability betting. You saw the ICE, the owner of the stock exchange, buy that, make that investment in Polymarket. So I think it's all smashing together right now. So you and your team have been on this for a long time because you approach it this way. So we decided years ago, we better teach people what these things mean and how they work, because people are doing more and more. And I think they're very close cousins and coming even closer together.
Dude, you're so spot on, Caleb. Like, I'm so happy that you guys are doing that. That is sick. And you're so right. I mean, the apps themselves give you the ability to trade crypto, trade stocks, buy a mutual fund, bet on the Rangers game. You know, you could do all of these things in the same app. So at Investopedia, if you know, the go-to source of, you know, what is everything that we're doing, to not include that would just be wrong. But like, I never thought of it that way. So kudos to you guys. That's sick.
Well, what's
That's awesome.
the overlying 4-letter word on top of all of this, JC, is something you've been teaching me since you and I became friends years ago, which is risk, right? This is risk. Sports betting is risk. Investing is risk. Trading is risk. Options, options is risk. It's all there. So if you're not teaching that at a very broad level across all the different ways people can experience risk, insurance risk, small business risk, all of the things that involve that 4-letter word, we think we should be educating people about.
100%. And just think about it. You know, this sports gambling stuff is, you know, oftentimes less risky than, you know, other types of assets like options potentially, right? So it's just really, really fascinating. So good on you. Let's get back to sentiment, right? I'm very passionate about this as a keen observer of humans and human behavior, and I try to take advantage of that and get insight as to what the humans are thinking and doing and how they're acting, and we could use that information to make decisions, right? So, you know, Investopedia, huge audience, right? So it's a big data set. It's not like a small sample size, right? Like, we got plenty of people in there. So, you know, tell me, what are they thinking? I know you brought some tables,
Yeah,
right?
we brought some charts. So we have 14 million readers coming into us every month with very specific questions. So you can glean a lot of data there. And we have something we built years ago called the Investopedia Anxiety Index. What is like the traffic patterns? How is it increasing or decreasing to fear-based terms? Fear-based terms like bear market, right? Correction.
Right.
On the personal finance side, bankruptcy, foreclosure. So anytime people are worried about something, market crash, recession, stagflation, they come to look for those words. So we built an index on that. And right now, people are not that worried when you look at what they're broadly concerned about. They're more concerned about their personal finances than they are their investments. But we'd like to actually physically send out a survey to our newsletter readers every 2 months, and newsletters including, you know, the terrific chart advisor you guys helped write years ago, but also we have 1.5 million daily newsletter readers, and a lot of them open our emails. So we survey them to find out, like, what are you afraid of right now? What are you fearing? What are you optimistic about? What stocks are you buying? What is your outlook for the next 6 months? Not too dissimilar from AAII, but a little bit more specific, because we like to ask them very pointed questions like, what's your top 10 in your portfolio right now? And then also, and we'll get to these charts in a sec, what stocks would you buy today and hold for the next 10 years? So that shows their long-term conviction. Also, JC, what would you do if you had an extra $10,000 to invest? The ultimate discretionary investment question. We didn't make it up. People actually come to Investopedia, you know, thousands of times a month asking us that question. What should I do with an extra 10 grand to invest? So we asked that question as well. The results are very interesting. Right now, people are individual investors, retail investors, are cautiously optimistic. They've been enjoying all-time highs, 30 plus.
Throw that one up.
30 plus so far this year. We do a little emoji meter with that one. So they're cautiously optimistic.
Emoji meter. I like it. I like
but
that.
They fear like something is happening under the surface, and they have walls of worry that they're concerned about. There it is. Cautiously optimistic. So you have the majority of our readers who are actually mostly optimistic, not ragingly optimistic, only about 3% extremely optimistic, but cautiously optimistic. Things are good. At the same time, there's a lot of things to be worried about. But as you know, JC, there's always a lot of things to be worried about. When we ask them what their biggest concerns are, it's exactly what you think they are. It's the headline fears. It's tariffs leading to more inflation. It's geopolitical instability. There was concerns about, you know, the trustworthiness of government data that popped up into our survey.
Put that one up. It's slide 9. Here. Yeah, the tariffs and inflation top the
Yeah,
list
the
of
things
reader
that
concern.
you would normally see. Sorry, the print there is a little tight, but the future
Yeah,
accuracy and
zoom in there.
reliability of government data that had some people concerned. Um, but it's really the tariffs that are front and center. A, it's because it's a real thing and it's very uncertain. B, because the media, guilty as charged, likes to talk about it all the time because it's the thing to talk about. But that's got investors concerned. That said, a lot of people aren't making dramatic decisions about their portfolios, at least their long-term portfolios. I like to look at Vanda and Vanda Track Research to see what people are doing outside of their 401ks. They're aggressive into stocks like Tesla and Nvidia and Palantir when there are pullbacks. But in general, people have been staying the course, even though they feel, and we have another chart here, that most of us feel like there is a bubble. So you asked that question. I heard you talking earlier about asking that question to two different crowds. Our readers in general do think that there's a bubble. I think we have that as well, where they think that bubble is right there in AI related stocks, right? Mega cap tech, crypto, right? In the usual places where asset prices have really swelled, where the risk on mentality is alive and well.
Yeah, AI, big cap tech, crypto, they all think that we're in a bubble. We're not in a bubble in consumer discretionary, which is interesting.
Right. I don't think that they equate, the Teslas of the world as a consumer discretionary, but it is one of the top stocks they own. So let's go see if we can get to that first bubble chart of the top stocks that they own by ticker. And even though, JC, they fear that there's a bubble in these areas, look at their top holdings.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
there's what they're saying and then what they're doing.
And that's classic with individual investors, right?
Yeah, I mean, listen, institutions too, right? Don't front. But they say, what stocks are you most invested in? These are the largest components of the indexes.
This is the Nasdaq
right?
100,
So,
right?
It's not surprising.
This is the top of the S&P 500, basically.
Right.
They own the market. That next slide we have of what would you buy and hold today for the next 10 years looks remarkably similar.
Yeah.
So they like home cooking. These are the stocks that have made them wealthy over the past decade or so. They're heavily invested in a lot of these. We don't as individual retail investors change positions a lot, except for traders and the professionals, that you deal with. We basically don't make a lot of changes. We keep doing the same thing every couple of weeks. It's what our friend Josh Brown likes to call the relentless bid. The same thing over and over again. That said, and you know this well, these are not the best performing stocks so far this year. It's a very different list. Palantir may be on that list as one of the best performers, but the best performing stocks are, they're not on here. So we always miss the best performers because we stick with the stocks that we're used to. And
I like how UNH made that list, snuck in there at the top. You see that?
What's that?
I see that.
Yeah, UNH. Well, I think people were buying a dip after that stock.
I did. So did David Tepper and Warren Buffett. I got better fills than they did, though.
Yeah. So fascinating, right? This is what we own, but this is basically the market. This is what we intend to own. And our readers are 18 to 80, JC. It's not like they're all 24-year-olds sitting in mom's basement yelling for more meatloaf, trading crypto. These are
meatloaf, ma.
18 to 80. These are long-term investors, but also people who like to take advantage of opportunities when they see them.
Amazing. Caleb, what about publishing the data on a regular basis? Are you doing any of that?
Putting out what people are reading, like on a daily basis. Oh, I do. We do it when there's a reason to do it. And here's a good example of a reason to do it. So-called Liberation Day, right? That was an intense day in the market. Obviously, tons of volatility, major sell-off led to a pretty big dip there, almost a bear market. But in that period of time, I was super curious about what people were coming in to read. Now, people come in at a very high level, top of the funnel. Wait, what's a tariff? What is Smoot-Hawley? What is a reciprocal tariff? What is the impact of, people
say Hawley?
Smith-Hawley was the tariff act. Smoot-Hawley, not Smith. Sorry, Smoot-Hawley. That was the name of the tariff act. That is the name of the tariff act that this administration used, including.
Sounds like a band from the 70s.
Yeah, big guy, handlebar mustache. Section 232 of the Trade Act. So all the things that we're making headlines. But then there was a lot of now, what do I do? So I have that list published of what were people running after, and then I'll go and I'll talk on the radio, on Planet Money and on TV shows and CNBC about what people are actually searching for. Because as you indicated, we're fascinated with each other and what's going through our animal spirits.
For good reason. I mean, I think that's good data and, understanding what the humans are clicking on and reading and, you know, what the writing, people are writing about, you know, all of that is really, really interesting. Caleb, while we have you here, you know, you're a man who travels quite a bit, you know, for many years, you know, you've been around. Vegas, what's your favorite part of Las Vegas?
Oh, I was just there recently for the first time in a long time. But my favorite part of Vegas is skateboarding Vegas.
Skateboarding in
Yeah.
Vegas. Tell me
I
more.
I had a deck with me the last time I was there. I was out at night and just, you know,
Is that what skateboards are called? You call them deck? You call it a
yeah,
deck?
decks.
right.
Yeah, and it was, you know, 98 degrees at 10 p.m. and I was like, I didn't want to sit in an air conditioned room. I just busted out there and just skated all over that crazy town. But I was in the Venetian, which I thought was actually pretty nice. I was at Bitcoin 2025, which was banana land. I've never seen. I mean, I went to one of the first ones. Bitcoin 2025. We're in a whole new era right now. That's a whole different
Wow.
ecosystem right now. So I enjoyed that. And you know, but I'm good in Vegas for a couple of days, and then I got to skate out of there.
No, I mean, see what you did there. But no, Vegas, I spent too long in Vegas. I went to the SAW conference once with Fami like 12, 13 years ago. And I was ready to go home, and I'm with Jeff Hirsch, right? I'm with Jeff Hirsch, and we're hanging out at the club. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to take off like in an hour. I was going to fly out. And my buddy calls me because he ran into a girlfriend of ours. And he's like, yo, you're in Vegas? I'm like, yup. He's like, oh, I just landed. He's like, when are you leaving? I'm like, I'm leaving tonight. He's like, no, you're not. I'm like, I don't have a place to stay. He's like, don't worry about it. I got a huge suite. You got your own room. You can stay as long as you want. I'm like, oh man. I'm like, all right, I guess I'm staying. Dude, I was in Vegas for like a week. I thought it was
a week
dead.
is like a year in Vegas.
Dude, it was bad. Can't do it. A couple days and out.
I, like you, JC, I'm reading this.
Oh, nice. 1929. What do you think so far?
I mean, Andrew's great. And this is like narrative. This is great nonfiction, but written narrative style. But the level of research that this guy did to produce this book is completely bananas. This is 100 years ago, basically. And it's not like we were keeping good notes and email files and documents. Andrew did some incredible digging. I know he had a lot of people who helped him with it. I think he's, as you said, one of the top financial journalists out there. And he's like one of those multi-tooled players where he has the 5 skills. You know, he does TV. He created DealBook. He helped create Billions with our buddy Josh. You know, he writes tremendous books and he gives a good interview. And I think, you know, that's a great skill, and he's a great storyteller. I'm excited to interview him for my pod in a week or two. So.
Oh, nice. That's cool. Yeah, listen, I'm reading, I'm giving a shot. I'm doing the best I can. I want to read it. I want to get through it. I'm a couple of chapters in. I mean, it's about to crash. I mean, I'm doing the best I can.
Right.
You know, I'm going to try to get
But
through
I think your idea of an index of, you know, when these books come out, is there a correlation to the behavior in the market? Well, the last one.
I went back and looked.
Yeah.
I did the work.
Yeah. The last one I heard you. The last one, Too Big to Fail, came out way after the fact. But this one is kind of right in the middle of a bubble, and it's talking about an important time in history. It's dense. There's a lot of names in there. There's a ton of history, but Andrew does a pretty good job of telling the story.
You know, Caleb, for Investopedia, I want to help you guys put together like a whole magazine cover index, you know, going back, you know, for a long, long, long time. I've been collecting these things for years. We've been showing them on the show, some of my old magazine covers. Like, that'd be something cool that Investopedia can cover. I'm happy to help you guys with that.
I'd love that. That sounds like a great idea. And you could find our original website in the Wayback Machine. Still there. The original.
Dude, so how many years for Investopedia?
26 years old, which is like 260 internet years. We're part of the People Inc. family of brands that includes People Magazine, and Food and Wine, and Travel and Leisure, and Better Homes and Gardens, In Style, Brides, Very Well. So we're part of the family there. And, it's an interesting time in publishing, but good to be part of that group.
Dude, I love it. You guys have been killing it forever. Fantastic. Caleb Silver, ladies and gentlemen, the man, the myth, the legend. I will meet you in the city soon. Got this. Have you been to El Encontro by Rocco on 82nd and 2nd?
No, but let's make a reservation.
Dude, this pasta is ridiculous. Like, I would never tell somebody go there for the pasta. I don't even eat pasta.
Me neither.
I eat rice. I got a good cube.
But I will.
But this pasta, like, I think he puts crack on it. I don't know what he does. It is ridiculous. Check it out.
Right. I will see you there.
Adios. Dude, this place is so good, man. It's so good. I think Perlman may have eaten it last night, eaten the pasta. I don't know, but he may have. We're going to find out.
All right.
He said he wasn't going to do it, but he may have.
All right. Hey, before we go, we got Sean in the house. It's Thursdays. We got to talk to Sean on Thursdays. Those are the rules. I don't make the
Shawnee,
rules.
baby.
It's just
Shawnee.
What's happening, fellas? What's happening?
Shawnee, baby.
Back in the house, back in the home office. Feels good.
How was Vegas?
Vegas was good. Too quick, too short. But man, walking around that city is like it's fantasy land. Like nothing nothing is real.
nothing is real.
And then
Nothing's real.
I kicked it up even more of a notch of making it unreal, JC. Before on my way to the airport yesterday when I left, I had like 3 hours to kill. I went to the Meow Wolf. Do you know what Meow Wolf is?
No.
Oh, you guys aren't living yet. So it's a immersive art experience. They have a few of them around the country. There's one here in Denver, which is I think the best. They got one in and it started in Santa Fe. That's the original. I've been to that one too. And then they have one in Vegas. And it's like this, huge warehouse type thing, but it's like wild. It's you walk around, you can get lost in there for hours. It's all this cool shit to see. And that is a whole different alternate reality. So you go into there and it's already in Vegas. And man, I'm telling you, the place is.
Is it for kids or is it for adults?
It's not advertised for kids, but kids love it. We took my son to the one in Denver last year, and we were kind of worried that he'd be a little like freaked out or overstimulated by it, but he loved it. He was like grabbing our hands and pulling us around from room to room, totally into it. It's a fascinating experience.
How do you spell this?
Meow, like meow, wolf, WOLF.
Meow, like meow.
Like a cat.
I've never heard.
Like a
I've
cat.
never heard of this before, but I'm interested. There's one.
I haven't either. This is all new
Well,
to
if you
me.
guys ever
Yeah.
come to Denver, you got to do it. It's right next to the football stadium where the Broncos play, and it's huge. And you could spend 4 hours in there easily and be totally immersed and totally engaged. It's exciting. Anyway, Vegas, man.
Markets are moving, Shawnee. Markets are flat, like literally 0.0 across the board. S&P down, Nasdaq 0.0, all three.
Great.
With the oil up 5%, copper up 2, gold up 2, silver up almost 3, and the VIX up again, still around 19. How are you thinking about the overall market here?
Well, I'm thinking that the action that we've seen in the high beta names over the last 3, 4, 5 trading days, as painful as it is for people like us who ride these high beta plays, it's necessary. We've been talking all summer about how this market feels like it's setting up for a performance chasing face ripper into the end of the year, right? Well, it's not going to go straight up. And having a little reset here in mid to late October feels right to me, especially with earnings starting to come out. I think all the conditions are set for us to really have a face ripper. I could be wrong, right? Of course I could be wrong. We have an administration that could pull the plug on anything at any moment, right? But it feels to me the conditions are right. And we needed this reset, and it sucks for some of us, right? I mean, I've had to pull back in my portfolio, nothing I can't come back from, but it's never fun. But I'm optimistic going into the end of the year.
So you're looking to put on positions from the long side. Are you looking at anything in energy here on this breakout?
I bought Duke Energy yesterday. That's one I like. Yeah.
Is that technically energy?
I mean, it's got energy in the name, JC. Of course it is, right?
No. I was gonna say I don't.
No, that's a utility stock. Yeah, you don't own energy. This is like one of those situations. Remember, like when Sean bought C Limited and he thought it was a shipping company.
Yeah.
Remember,
Guys, I just
Yeah.
That was one of the
buy
best.
letters and numbers. I don't give a shit
So
what
folks,
they do.
Sean doesn't care. If All Star Charts likes the trade, Sean will put it on. Right. So he bought C Limited. I think I think it was like a 300-400% return, something crazy. And the entire time Sean thought it was a shipping stock, as it turns out it's the Amazon of Southeast Asia. Nothing to do with shipping, not
Had
directly.
I known
anyway.
that it was a not a shipping stock, maybe I wouldn't have bought it. So it's probably good I didn't know that.
There you go. So Sean thinks he's buying energy. He is not. He's in the utilities.
Yeah. Well, look, I am bullish, as you know, but also tactically speaking, right now, and I don't know how long this will last, but maybe for the next couple of weeks, I am on the hunt for selling short puts. I think this is a short put type of market.
Wow.
I think we've got, some stocks that have had some resets, right? Have had some dramatic pullbacks that are now finding some levels, and volatility has spiked in some of these names. You got to wade in carefully. I wouldn't short puts on just anything, but the bigger the cap, the better. The better the support level that we can lean against, the better. And if the implied volatility is high, great. Just avoid earnings landmines if you can. But I think for the next at least couple of weeks, I think there's going to be some good shots. We already had one play out real quick in Apple. I shorted puts in Apple last week or a week and a half ago. Already out of it at the profit target. That moved pretty quick. But those types of names, I think there's some opportunities there.
What about elsewhere in tech? Because technology is making new all-time highs on a relative basis, so the relative strength is still there.
What relative strength there? I mean, look at a chart like Microsoft. I mean, you got to love the way that thing is based over the last, I don't know, 6 weeks, right? A stock like, let's see. I don't know. I was going to say Amazon, but Amazon's looking a little sloppy, but building a base. Let's see. Meta kind of looks like Amazon. I mean, they're all just kind of hanging in there, right? I mean, they're not at their highs, but they're not far off their highs. These things aren't sending me any, red lights, red flags.
Anybody buying Adobe down here? Is Adobe just done? AI, has taken over, and Adobe's a zero.
It does not look like a chart I want to buy right now.
I mean, I see some of the worst investors on the planet hating on this one. So that catches my attention. This thing's gotten slaughtered.
Tradable low, JC. 327.
It's seems like a tradable low. I think when I see some of the, I have my list of contrarians, and when I see the worst investors of all time, and looking for, I want to look to maybe take the other side. So I'm looking at it, and I like how you said that, Spencer. Tradable low. That's probably a good way to look at it.
Nvidia looks like it might be putting in a tradable low here. Sitting right on its 50-day moving average, hanging in there.
Tradable low is a strong word. I mean, this thing's made a new all-time high, has gone sideways. But granted, it's gone sideways, pretty much sideways since the summer. Oh, you're saying like a correction over the last couple of weeks, maybe you're saying, right? Yeah. I mean,
banks too, man. Like, I don't know. The banks had a moment early last week, and then they kind of gave it all back. But they're hanging. They're hanging there, like Morgan Stanley, JP Morgan. JP Morgan doesn't look so good.
I mean, it's back to that former resistance. I mean, they're putting in higher lows, higher highs.
I mean, JP Morgan, Bank of America looks pretty good. Wells Fargo. Yeah. I don't know.
European banks down here digging in look good.
By the way, you saw me mention this on the old Twitter yesterday, but I love that our friend Josh Brown yesterday on his big presentation at the conference yesterday, he sounded like he'd been hanging out with you, JC. He was talking about gold and talking about the chart, and his whole thesis on gold was it's going up because it's going up. Stop thinking about the government and the debt and the this and the that. He's like, the chart's going up because the chart's going up. Don't overthink it. And I was like, he's been hanging out with JC.
that sounds like JC.
Dude, we had to. Yeah, I mean, listen, I've been yelling at him because I don't mean to yell. I just talk really loud, right? So it just like it projects. So I've been yelling at him for, I remember telling him in 2005, I'm like, hey, Josh, we were walking to get coffee. I'm like, hey, Josh, I'm going to start studying for my CMT. I'm going to get my CMT designation. He's like, oh, yeah, that sounds great. So what is that? Right. And so that was like 2005, which is hilarious because now he's friends with like a zillion CMTs. But I remember vividly being on 45th Street there in between the MetLife and the Helmsley building, going to get coffee. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to get my CMT. And then I was explaining what it is. He's like, all right, knock yourself out, man. And then now he's like homies with like pretty much all the CMTs out there, at least the ones.
Josh also said something else that was pretty prescient yesterday on stage. He was saying that we need to, as market participants, we need to kind of step back and appreciate the market that we're in right now. He said, there's too many of us who are looking for the top, looking for this. This is as far as it can go. They're worried about the news cycle. They're worried about, the government being dysfunctional, all this stuff. And he's like, show me a point in history when none of this was true. Right. He's like, we just need to sit back and appreciate the market we're in and maybe smile a little bit, he said. And I don't know. It tugged at my heartstrings the way he presented it. I'm not doing a good job.
I mean, that's how I think too. He didn't take that from me. I didn't tell him that, but he's right. Like, what? It's like, oh yeah, the president is doing all these things and pissing people off. All right, as opposed to when?
Yeah.
Right. There's always going to be a president that's pissing a group of people off, right? Whether it's on one side or the other side, but there's always going to be a bunch of people that are pissed off about the situation. Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong. And he said, 20 years from now, we're going to look back at these days and we may call these the glory days. So let's try to enjoy it a little bit.
Those
are good words of advice.
There's that amazing line from The Office, and then we'll wrap it up here is, I wish somebody would tell you when you're in the good old days while you're in them, right? And because the good old days are always in hindsight. Oh, damn, it was the good old days, right?
That's true.
Well, I do tell my wife that. I remind her sometimes. I'm like, we have twin 2-year-olds and a 5-year-old. Like, these are the good old days. Like, I literally tell her that and remind her sometimes when things get a little bit difficult, because naturally they do.
Right.
And so I'm like, just keep in mind that this is the good times that in the future we're gonna be like, remember.
Well, listen, if you want more good times, I do recommend reading Sean's free notes. It's a healthy mix of like options, lessons, but also like life lessons and observations from Sean's life that he applies to investing. It is the very first link in the description on YouTube. If you click on it, click more. It's right there at the top. So get Sean's free note, and that's what I have to say. So, Sean, thank you for joining us today.
Well done, Spencer.
Yeah. All right, let's get out of here. Thank you, Sean. Thank you, Kenny. Thank you, Caleb. Thank you, chat. We'll see you. Go make some money. All right. And seize the day. I don't know.
Yep.
Today's the best day of the year to buy stocks in a rolling 3-month period. Let's see if that turns out to be true again. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Position for the face ripper. Let's go.
All right.
I can't take no loss. I don't even know what it costs.